Hello everyone there out in YouTube land. Today I want to address a video as promised to this good Christian brother, username thefieldtrackstarz, a bit of a mouthful. I don't normally comment on Christian videos, but I couldn't resist this one. To set the context for you anyway, here we go.
So here's the topic today. It's something I noticed from listening to all the debates, the atheist versus Christian debates. And I noticed a theme amongst all the atheists. So the topic today is how to make an atheist. And the reason I say that is because what I noticed from all the atheists when they were debating the Christian person in these big national debates is that they all had a similar story to how they got to become an atheist and to be so against Christianity. And usually the story goes like this: they were a Christian, they grew up a Christian small, or at least they were brought to church, or that whole thing, right? And somewhere along the way they got disappointed by something that they couldn't explain, and because it was such a big deal to them, they said, God can't be real, I'm out.
So that sets the scene and the tone, doesn't it? Disappointed and God. This whole thing, you see, is this is the point I'm making in this video, is that it is the singular perspective that really annoys me every time. This perspective that the remaining believers still have opinions about ex-believers like me. It is the very Mount Everest of condescension, and to patronize us in such a way, disappointing, and we're disappointed in God. Now it starts as well, also the height of arrogance, like all Christians and religious people, God used in the singular. What God, my friend? I mean, you start, it's like it's a given. There's no question about that. Of course, God. So as that as a starting point, I don't know where the thing can go. I mean, I know you're a Christian, you're going to make yourself that way, but it's just that, you know, you start God. So if that's a given, how the hell are we going to rationalize anything else?
Enemies have been attacking us for centuries. Our walls still stand.
Father, we can't win this war.
Apollo watches over us. Even Agamemnon is no match for the gods.
And how many battalions does the sun god command?
Do not mock the gods.
Okay, that insert was a bit cheeky, but it makes the point. At the time of those people, the Greeks and all of those ancient civilizations who achieved so much, you know, they spoke in the plural and they were deadly serious about their gods. But that's not to say they weren't, you know, they were ignorant people. I mean, look what they built and achieved, and, you know, gave birth to democracy and all those grand ideas and philosophy and all the rest of it. But they thought about gods as well. But your God obviously pulls rank on all of that, your Israeli God, right? Let's move on.
Right? So here's the problem though. Because they're the ones that were in church learning all the biblical things, and now that they're atheists, they feel like they know why you believe what you believe, right? So when they're debating you, like let's say I'm debating you, okay, I'll be like, you can't say nothing to me because I already know your whole Bible. I know everything you believe. I know what your God is like. I know everything about you. So they feel like they have the upper hand. But watching them, I noticed that usually it's a result of bitterness or disappointment. Somebody died, they wanted, you know, some sort of physical relationship, and the Bible told them they couldn't. There's usually something that disappointed them to make them turn away, and then they reason their way out of believing in God.
Yeah. Okay, two things here. I mean, what is with this rebuke that, you know, for ex-Bible students, ex-church members, ex-cult members, that we can't speak anymore? We're like tainted goods. This is automatic disqualification that we can't speak on it. This is your point, I guess, is it? You know, and that we have the upper hand. I mean, this is just fucking monstrously cruel and unfair, you know? It's like, we have the upper hand. It's like it disqualifies you to talk about it, even though you did study it and you do know something about it. So, I mean, what chance does that give anybody? I mean, what chance does that give us? You know, it's like, you start off the premise God exists, and that anyone who was a believer and did study it and knows something about it, they're excluded from the conversation. So, like, who's left? Who's left? Like, if some asshole you pick off the street who knows nothing about it, never opened the Bible, I guess that's easy pickings, isn't it? Is that who you want to talk to?
But what I notice is the people who are the most vile, the people who are the most angry, and the ones that want to put down Christianity the most were Christians themselves. I don't think if somebody just grew up and they didn't have church in their life, they wouldn't be so angry enough to try and fight it. These people hate Christianity.
So, from anger to hate. No, I don't hate Christianity. I don't hate anybody or anything, friend. Probably the only thing I do hate is tax. But it has to be done. So yeah, I mean, that's another emotional blackmail tactic. You're angry, you're hateful. If you could just get over that, get some therapy, you'd come back to the Lord, I guess. Is that the rationale? No, I'm not angry or hateful against Christianity. I'm indifferent to Christianity, except for when it crosses over the line between church and state and my civil or human rights. As to the disappointed thing, I mean, that is again so patronizing and condescending. I wasn't disappointed, my friend, with religion or my faith or anything else like that. I wasn't disappointed. I was quite happy. That's not why I left. I mean, what kind of below-the-belt bullshit is that? It's kind of like, I don't know, some cheesy Freudian father-son relationship. Daddy disappointed me and I didn't get what I wanted, so I'll turn my back on you. I mean, it's all too human that, you know, I'm disappointed and I was upset. But my daddy still exists, you know. I mean, it's crazy talk, that. I mean, it goes fucking nowhere. Emotional blackmail, that's all that is. Of course, the anger thing, okay? It's like religious apologists and Christians and all the rest of you idiots, you know, you have this, like, you have a monopoly on the word anger. You invented the word anger. Let me talk about that for a second. You know, social change has been affected by anger. And with all respect, I don't want to be racial here, but you as a black American, I mean, let me think. Frederick Douglass, perhaps. Dr. King were angry people. That's the only way they affected change, so that you can sit in your studio as a free man, as you should. You have that right. Yeah, I mean, and people are angry about lots of things. We were angry about apartheid in South Africa, and we did something about it. So, well, what does anger mean to you? Is that someone throwing rocks in the street or football hooligans? I'm angry, and I can still smile about it. I'm angry that religion in my life, you know, destroyed my life, my country life, everything, the whole country. I have a right to be angry, friend, you know? But it's not because I'm angry that I don't believe in a God. The reason I don't believe in a God is because there's absolutely no tangible evidence of anything of the sort, and on a measuring scale against science and reality, it really peters out into zero possibility. It is just insane childishness, and I'm saying that as an ex-believer. What's next?
Yeah, and I think that's one of those things that, like when we saw that years ago, when we saw that Darwin movie, that's kind of something happened with him and his daughter. And he got to a point where he was like, God can't be real if he's going to let this happen. Or just in general, some people feel like God ain't real because a little girl down the street got killed in a drive-by. Like, why would God allow that to happen? You know what I mean?
Okay, so another contribution from this guy. Now, this is an old chestnut, of course, Darwin and the death of his daughter Annie. And of course, as you heard the guy say, I mean, yeah, so again, the rationale, just human stuff, emotional. Darwin is just so angry and pissed off with God, which of course exists. Remember, that's the premise, God exists. So Darwin is just so annoyed and he's so frustrated at how God could do this thing that, you know, she could die so young, his favorite daughter, that he decides to sabotage the whole thing, become a non-believer, and one of the earliest or most famous atheists. Nothing got to do with his years and years of scientific study and research that was peer-reviewed and finally published and became the great hit that it deserved to be. No, he was just pissed off because little Annie died too young.
When you accept Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, you're giving him your life so he can do whatever he wants with it, and he becomes the goal, he becomes the prize, not, you know, money, your house, your car, your education, even your own safety. None of that is promised, but he's the reward, and we don't, as Christians, do a good job of making that clear to people.
Yeah, I thought I'd include this that clip from the lady speaking as well. Typical rhetoric again. The only thing I would pick you up on, sweetheart, I really have to, is that this thing of giving your life to Christ. You know, and He'll decide everything. I have to say this with respect, dangerous territory. From a group of people, bless you, from your ethnic background, it's interesting that you fought so hard against inequality, well, slavery first, inequality and discrimination, that you inherit the white man's belief and the white man's church. I don't know what the fuck this is. It's like Stockholm syndrome or cultural colonialization. It's just absurd. But you wanna sort of, forgive me, be a slave again in your heart and soul. I thought that you people fought so long to get rid of slavery. And because that's what religion is. You said it yourself. I mean, you just give your heart and soul over to Jesus. You belong to Jesus. Do you not find that paradoxical or ironic? And that's it, everybody. To conclude on that, you know, what I would say to this guy, I don't know what your name is, but you know, I mean, the reason you stay in that, and you're the guy there on the mic, you're controlling the show there, and all your brothers and sisters, literally in the faith, are listening to you, I guess because you have to be more holy than they are, and you know, you teach and you inspire. It's just that's the reason you stay in the faith. It's the same reason I stayed in the faith. It's because of the solidarity, the friendship, the community, the love that you get right there in that studio from your friends and your mates. And that's why you stay in it. And that's why they will stay in it. Because it's that hard reality. It's not about what they really believe or don't believe. If that were the case, why do you Christians constantly come out with that kind of genre, that, like the theme of this video, like, be careful, you might slip into to become an atheist, a rationalist. You might, don't think too much for yourself. Remember, the tests will come and all of that. So, you know, that's it. I think these guys, judging by the tone of their voice and the look in their eye, some of those brothers in that studio seem very, very close to freedom to me, or to rationalism, humanism, atheism. Why not? I mean, it's not, I don't want you to join our club. We don't have a club. But I just feel sorry for people trapped in a nonsense. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Become the next great atheist, the next great atheist, the next great atheist, the next great atheist.